Chris.
Thank you, Rich. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming out for what is another fun day for the Texas Rangers in our off season. We're extremely excited to welcome Andrew Heaney and his wife Jordan to the Rangers organization. We set out this offseason to improve our starting pitching, and we feel like at this point, going into the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023, that we have accomplished that by adding Jacob and obviously Andrew, Martine, Jake Odorizzi. We feel very good about where we are as an organization and addressing a big area of need. And we couldn't be more happy that Andrew has chosen to be a member of the Texas Rangers. With that, I'd like to introduce our newest starting pitcher, Andrew.
Slide it over. All right. Thank you. It's good luck. Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, we'll take questions now. Please wait for the mic and state your name and affiliation before you ask your question.
Emily Jones, Rangers field reporter. Andrew, I think this is a question I always ask. I asked Boch and I asked Jacob, why this team, why this organization at this point in your career?
Yeah, for me, I mean, getting on a Zoom, talking with CY, talking with Boch, understanding the direction, the trajectory of the team, the organization, the way they viewed me as a pitcher, understood who I am, what I do well, but also understood what I want to do better and how they can help me do that. So for me, that was just that was a huge part of it.
Hey, Andrew. Evan Grant, Dallas Morning News. Did Jacob's signing here have an impact on your decision on how fast you guys kind of moved in terms of coming here?
No, not specifically. I mean, obviously, that's an exciting pitcher to sign. I'm excited to get to play with him, get to pick his brain. But I mean, I'm excited to also talk to Martin Perez and John Gray, Odorizzi, all the guys in this rotation. I'm excited to be a part of that. So, obviously, I understand the caliber of player that DeGrom, Jacob is. But I don't think it was a specific reason. No.
And then the other thing for me was you've spent the last 2 years with the Dodgers and the Yankees, big portions of those seasons. Those are two organizations that have been considered pitching forward, right? Very advanced on the pitching front. What do you feel like you've accomplished in terms of learning more about yourself in the last 2 seasons with them?
Yeah, I mean, definitely going. New York wasn't the best I've ever pitched, and I think going into that off season and going to the Dodgers and really understanding that it was going to be a bit of a retooling, a reimagining a little bit of kind of my stuff, how I use it, how I wanted to approach getting hitters out, and with those guys, they're great from all the different aspects of how they handle pitching. And so I really learned a lot about myself and kind of how to reinvent some of the things that I was doing. So that's obviously a credit to Connor McGinnis, Mark Pryor, those guys, the pitching side of the Dodgers, and so that's definitely something I want to build on. I mean, there's still a couple things that I think I can do better, and I'm excited to be here and work with Mike Maddox and the guys here to really build upon that.
Hey, Jeff Wilson with Rangers Today. So what do you want to do better? And how are they going to help you do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing for me is obviously last year, I know my bread and butter is my fastball. Last year, my slider, we kind of reimagined it a little bit. That was a great pitch for me. But I kind of operated as a two-pitch pitcher, and so I think for me, kind of getting my changeup folded back in, may actually cut down on the strikeouts a little bit, but getting a few more early outs, getting a little bit more soft contact is something that I'm definitely wanting to work on. It's something I've been working on this off season, and I think that we just got a tour of the place and understand the facilities and the instruments and abilities of all the people here to help me do that, and I'm excited to get to work. I mean, I'm just ready to get going.
Alex Blink, Dallas Sports Fanatic. Andrew, you and John Gray grew up about 45 minutes apart in Oklahoma. Did you know John at all? I know you went to Oklahoma State. He went to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys have a history between?
I honestly hadn't. I mean, just playing against him a little bit in Colorado. I really didn't know him personally all that well. I actually just ran into him here. He was working out, getting going, and got to kind of introduce myself and him to me. And really it's just from across the field. Obviously Bedlam. Got to face him in college, and just got to see how firsthand how great of a pitcher he is. So I'm excited to get to know him a little bit better as a person, because really right now I just know him more as a player.
Andrew, just piggybacking off of that real quick. Ariana Video, MLB.com. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You spent most of your career on the coast.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to play closer to home? You're 5 hours away.
I mean, it's definitely something exciting for me. I know I got a lot of friends, a lot of family that are excited to be able to come down here and see me play closer. It's great for our family. It's definitely the area is closer to what we know as a lifestyle growing up, born and raised in Oklahoma. So I'm excited about that. But I mean, I think the proximity is great, and it is really nice. But I mean, I think a lot of the decision was about the trajectory of the team, the people that they have here, the process that they have going, and I'm excited to just be a part of it.
CY, what are your overall evaluations of the rotation right now heading into 2023? And is a 6-man rotation a likelihood right now?
I think in terms of the evaluation, we're really excited about having one high quality in the rotation with every member, from Andrew through Jake and Dane Dunning. We feel like we're very, very good and competitive, really, with any rotation in the American League. I think we want to make sure we meet each person in terms of what their specific skill set is, and structure a rotation that complements that skill set in a way that maximizes their full potential. And obviously there's a health and medical component that we want to be aware of and manage workloads and keep these guys healthy and on the field. And it'll be an important aspect of our success as a team next year, but we feel very confident in our medical group and the ability to do that. But ultimately, the quality of our pitchers, significantly different from where we've been the last couple of years, and really exciting for our fans to get to come to the ballpark night in, night out, and watch a team take the field that's going to have a chance to win every night.
Chris queued up my question perfectly. One of the things we've looked at as far as the rotation goes is the number of innings pitched in recent years. And last year you talked about going to the Dodgers and sort of retooling your repertoire. And we heard you changed your slider. Was that any sort of a contributing factor towards some of the missed time early in the season? And just kind of how do you view your health moving forward?
Yeah. I think what we do as a profession lends itself to having issues with injuries, and I think that that's always something that you have a great medical staff, a great training staff, and you work extremely hard in the off season and during the year to prevent that, right? I mean, it's really just mainly injury prevention. I think it's hard to get into exactly what causes it specifically. I mean, I think there might be some element of that, like throwing a new pitch, throwing it so early, throwing it so often. That could have been a product of it. But I think, understanding now what happened, how to prevent it. And for me, just as far as my health, I mean, I know how healthy I was in 2020 and 2021. Last year, obviously, the beginning half of the year was a hiccup for me. But I finished the season strong. I took the ball every fifth day, felt really good, was throwing the ball as hard as I ever have. I feel like I've taken that into this off season with the way that I'm training the things that I'm doing specifically to kind of strengthen my shoulder and get those things right. So, I mean, I know personally for me, I know I'm approaching it the right way, and you know, I'm just I think you just go and you take the ball, and you know in the back of your mind that you've done everything you can to be healthy, and that's kind of the name of the game.
Also, I knew somebody was going to forget to introduce themselves, and it's me. I'm the problem. So Levi Weaver with The Athletic.
Nice to meet you.
Stephen Hawkins with the AP. Andrew, you were in this division for a long time. What was your perception of the Rangers from the other side, and how much did it change when you got on the conversations and had and when you talked to Chris and the guys here?
Yeah, I mean, same. We were walking through the hallways, and there's, you know, obviously there's big, you know, pictures of all the players of the past, and the one at Beltrade, and I was like, oh man, that's like giving me flashbacks. I mean, I think for me, like, it was always a tough lineup that's, you know, through my whole career had always given me some problems. You know, obviously the old ballpark lended itself to a little bit more offense. Also was not fun to pitch in day games, you know, so in the middle of August. So I mean, I think for me, like, I always thought, you know, this is just a really tough place to pitch. You know, but with the new ballpark and, you know, being on the other side of things, like, I'm excited to not have to face all those guys, you know, when I did back with the Angels.
Andrew, this team has not experienced a great deal of success of late. When you look at the opportunity to be a part of, you know, taking a team back to where, you know, they haven't been in a while, does that serve as extra motivation for you? Does that make it a little more special, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, I think you know, I think players relish in the opportunity to come in and be a factor on a team, not just be a complimentary piece, right? I mean, for me, like, I know what I can bring. You know, obviously, like, we've talked about how great the rotation is and can be. I want to be a part of that, and I think, you know, I want to be a part of a group that can be you know, can be a strong point of a team to lead us to where we want to go. You know, obviously, I know we got great players on the other side of the ball, and I'll let them do their thing. But, you know, from the pitching side of things, you know, I'm just excited to come in here with a new group and kind of get to work and try and turn things around for sure.
Emily, just to piggyback on that, I think it's a great question. I think it's a big part of our evaluation in terms of the players that we bring in, and it's just how they respond to that challenge and what they want to accomplish in the next chapter of their careers. And certainly it's one of the things that Andrew answered unbelievably well in our Zoom meeting, and gave us great excitement in terms of what he's looking to do in the next chapter of his career and being part of something special.
Andrew, almost any time a player signs a free agent deal, they talk about the opportunity or the vision with the team that they've signed. But you actually gave up, it's been widely reported, some monetary and material type things to sign here. So clearly the vision did speak. What exactly did he say that resonated so much with you that would be willing to, like, say, I want to be here over someplace that might be more financially rewarding?
I mean, obviously the Zoom went well, and CY gave us the sales pitch, but I think actions speak louder than words, right? I mean, you look at the guys that they brought in last year, and you know, in Seager and Semien, you know, going out. Obviously, DeGrom was before me, and like you said, that may not have been a catalyst for me signing, but it's obviously an understanding of, like, where this organization views themselves, how they view themselves in the future, how they want to get there. I mean, players talk, reputations get around, right? Like, you want to play in a place where you understand you're valued as a player, but also as a person. You want to know that you're in a place that you're comfortable living. You want to know that your family's going to be taken care of. I mean, I think all of those things, they can be said, but they also have to be seen. And so for me, like, I think, you know, a lot of it is in the Zoom, but also, like, things behind the scenes, things that I'm hearing from other guys, from other players, and, you know, the year prior, and kind of how the off season went. And so I think I think it's more than just a Zoom and the words that are said.
Chris, you know, we kind of alluded to some of this when word started to get out that Andrew had signed, but I wanted to get you on the record now. Do you feel like starting pitching is still a priority for y'all this offseason, or do you move on to some other things with the opportunity, you know, if there's there's opportunity, I don't think you would turn away from it. But is it no longer a top priority for you guys?
Yeah, I think coming in, Evan, it was a top priority. I think we've addressed it in a lot of ways that gives us great comfort going into the season. We know that things happen, and you can never have enough starting pitching, but I wouldn't say it's our top priority at this point. But we'll always stay open-minded on any way we can to improve our club.
Andrew, Jared Sandler, 105.3 The Fan and Rangers Radio. You were talking about your pitch usage last year. What was it specifically that you bought into, or that the Dodgers impressed upon you, that led you to change the way you use your pitches and be fastball, slider, and maybe get rid of the curveball?
Man, how much time you got? Yeah, I mean, basically, like I said, I know my strength as a fastball thrower. I understand what makes me unique in the sense of kind of having a lower arm slot with kind of a riding fastball. I mean, I was really trying to find a breaking ball that paired well with that. I think in the past I had tried to sort of throw a bigger breaking ball, almost like thinking that more shape, more movement, right, like would be better. But there's a balance between the velo you're throwing it at, the spin, the shape, the trajectory, all those things. So I mean, I think there was a reimagining of kind of what a breaking ball thrown off my fastball should be and how to best use it. And so sometimes some guys are really adept at just picking up a ball and just throwing it with the shape that they want, and it just kind of works. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time and kind of an understanding of you don't want to take away from what makes you unique, because uniqueness is a great trait to have. But then how do you best play a breaking ball off that? How do you best play a changeup? How do you maybe think about throwing a cutter? Think about, you know what I mean? Like, so there was a lot of kind of that going on. And so it's a little bit of trial and error. And then ultimately kind of came up late in spring training with the slider that I'm throwing now.
And see why, I guess going back to Mike Minor and Lance Lynn, this organization now for the last several years has brought guys in. I know that Andrew's coming off a great year, but elevated their performance on the mound, Martine and Gibby a couple years ago. Is that a part of the conversations you have at your sales pitch? Is that something that guys are aware of when you're having those conversations with them? And how important has that been, I guess, in the recruiting process?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, I wouldn't characterize anything as sales pitch, because I think ultimately what we're just trying to be are authentic and transparent as to who we are and what we believe we're building. So I think that, in terms of each individual person that we meet with, we want them to understand who we are. It's a partnership, who we are, and how we're creating an environment to help Andrew or whomever else maximize their full potential. And that's our objective with every player in our organization, is that we are providing the resources, the coaching, the tools to help each player be the best version of themselves and collectively create a winning environment. And so, I think in terms of, Lance and Mike and some of the other success stories predate me. This organization's been very good at these things before I arrived. So we're looking to continue that. But I think in terms of the evaluation with Andrew or Martine or any others that we brought in the last 2 years, I think it's as much about catching the player at the right point in their career. I certainly experienced it as a player where you go through moments where you're still learning, you're trying to figure it out. But ultimately, when you find competitors, guys who are committed to winning, who have a desire to continue to get better, they've been through adversity, and they're motivated and they want to be part of winning. You catch them at the right point in their career, you get them on the upswing. And I think that's what the organization has done well, and certainly that's our expectation and why we're thrilled to have Andrew.
Any other questions? Back to
So as long as we're talking priorities, Chris.
You're talking priorities, Evan. I'm celebrating Andrew.
Is it just, proceed forward with whatever presents itself, or does bullpen become more of priority than bad. And I don't know if you can quantify that in any way.
Yeah, I think just staying open-minded on any way we can to improve our club. I think we've made great progress this offseason. We're thrilled with what we've done, but we recognize that Houston, Seattle, Anaheim are very good. Oakland has a great way of rebuilding quickly. The work is never going to stop. We're always going to look to continue to improve, and there are a lot of different ways you can do that, and we're going to be open-minded.
Chris, Matthew Postins, Fan Nation. Any hope in bringing Matt Moore back as far as a bullpen piece?
Matt's certainly somebody we've had talks with. We love the person, what he did for our organization last year. Again, we remain open, would welcome that, but we recognize his market is going to be strong. It is strong, and we'll see how it plays out.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
Sorry, hit you with the sales.
No, all good. All good. You and Jordan want a picture up here?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay, let's move. Now you get to do all the individual interviews. Yeah.